In the deep shadows of Haitian folklore lies a tale that chills the bones and stirs the mind. A tale of the zombie, a figure caught between life and death, forever bound to a world of shadows. The story begins with whispers in the night, in remote villages where the boundaries between the living and the dead are as thin as a mist-covered veil. In these places, death is not the end, it's merely the beginning of another, more sinister chapter. In the heart of these dark tales are the bokors, powerful sorcerers said to possess the knowledge to reanimate the dead. These men and women, feared and revered, wield the power to turn the natural order on its head. Under a full moon, a bokor stands over a freshly dug grave, his voice blending with the wind as he chants incantations. The air is thick with the scent of herbs and burning candles, and the ground trembles beneath his feet. Suddenly, the earth stirs. A hand, pale and lifeless, breaks through the soil. A body, stiff and cold, rises from the grave, its eyes dull and unseeing, a zombie, a puppet to the will of its master. To the people of Haiti, the zombie is not merely a myth, but a terrifying reality, a fate worse than death itself. For a zombie is not free. It is a soul trapped in its own decaying shell, bound to serve, its consciousness locked away while its body moves at the command of another. The villagers speak of nights when they've seen them walking through the fields, silent, unthinking, neither alive nor truly dead. They avert their gaze, fearing that if they look too long, the same fate might befall them. But as the legend of the zombie drifted beyond the Caribbean shores, the stories began to change. In the hands of Western storytellers, the zombie, now called zombie, transformed. It became a creature of science, a victim not of sorcery, but of twisted experiments and rogue viruses. The new zombies were no longer raised by spells, but by chemicals, radiation, or diseases that spread like wildfire. These tales took root in a world where the fear of science gone wrong loomed large, and the zombie became a symbol of our anxieties about the power of science to reshape life and death in unforeseen ways. The scene shifts to a high-tech laboratory where scientists in white coats study a newly discovered virus, their faces lit by the eerie green glow of computer screens. A vial is accidentally dropped, shattering on the cold, sterile floor. The virus spreads, invisible but deadly, slipping into the air ducts and beyond. The first signs are small, a fever here, a cough there, but soon the hospitals are filled with patients whose bodies twist in agony as the infection takes hold. Panic spreads through the city, and before long, those who fall to the virus begin to rise again, their eyes vacant, their bodies driven by an insatiable hunger. The cities become graveyards, with buildings standing like tombstones under a blood-red sky. Zombies shuffle through the empty streets, their decayed hands reaching out for anything warm and alive. Survivors huddle in the ruins, struggling to hold on to hope as they scavenge for food and weapons, always looking over their shoulders. Each day is a fight to stay human, to keep from becoming like those that haunt the streets, driven by a hunger that will never be satisfied. But the zombies are not the only threat. As society crumbles, humans turn on each other, revealing the darkness that lies within. In this new world, the living can be just as dangerous as the dead. And yet, in the quiet moments when the sun dips below the horizon and the shadows grow long, some survivors find themselves wondering, what if the zombies can remember? What if there is a flicker of the person they once were, trapped behind those glassy eyes, struggling to break free? There is a story of a man who recognized his own wife among the zombies, her hand reaching out for him, a flash of something familiar in her gaze. He couldn't bring himself to harm her, believing that some part of her was still there, trying to reach him through the haze of death. He spoke to her every night, hoping that his voice might awaken her, but her expression remained vacant. And one morning, she was gone, leaving him with only the echo of what once was, a hollow reminder of how thin the line between life and death truly is. As the world adapts to this new reality, the legend of the zombie grows. No longer bound to a single story, it evolves, shifting with the fears of the time. In some tales, the virus is born from a government experiment gone wrong. In others, it is the result of pollution or the wrath of nature herself. In every story, however, there is a common thread, a world turned upside down, where the familiar becomes terrifying, and where death is no longer an end, but a doorway to something far more sinister. But why, after all these years, do zombies continue to fascinate us? Is it the thrill of survival, the challenge of facing a relentless enemy? Or is it the deeper, more unsettling question that lurks beneath? What if, in the end, we are the true monsters? As we gaze into the lifeless eyes of a zombie, we see a reflection of our own fears, our own loss of control, and the fragile nature of what it means to be human.